is Osmar Delima. I'm the Rebel Fighter Featherweight champion. I'm here, I was invited by Sosa. He's the boxing coach over here, also my boxing coach. And we're talking to these, you guys go to middle school, right?
Parkway High School.
Parkway Middle School. I went to Parkway 6th, 7th, and 8th grade as well. So, what's your guys' name?
I'm Roberto. I'm here in my 8th grade year. I've been here around 3 years.
You?
Hassan.
I don't know you.
I'm Leah.
Dang, Leo.
Leah? This one? Turn it upside
down.
Oh.
And that's Gabby. That's Gabby.
I'm Leah Arroyo.
How long have you guys been training?
Since like the beginning of school.
I've been here since 6th grade.
4
Oh,
years.
wow, 3 years.
Yeah.
Leah Arroyo.
Leah, one at a time. It's too confusing like that. Go ahead.
You? How long have you been training?
Since the beginning of school year.
And, oh, okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's really good. You?
Same.
That's nice. Okay, I'm 22 years old, and I started over right here at Physique Magnifique about 10 years ago. I was about 12, 13. I started training downstairs. They had they had everything here. They had boxing, kickboxing with Mark Tabuso. They had jiu-jitsu. Flavio was my first instructor, and so I met him, and I started training here. Only jiu-jitsu, you know. I was about 13, and I was young. And it really helped me a lot. You know, I was training for about 3-4 years, and I got in lots of trouble. You know, I quit for a while, for about 8 months to a year, and then I was 16 at the time, and I started getting so much trouble. You know, I was in high school. I started going to high school. I started, drinking, doing drugs and everything. Got involved with the wrong people, and that's the time. I sat back and I started thinking, I said, I need to change something. I need to do something else because I wasn't training at the time, and I've been pretty active my whole life. And at that time, it's when you train or when you do something, whether it is weightlifting or jiu-jitsu, whatever you do, once you stop and you realize, what you're missing, you realize that you can't go on without it. And God changed my life. He touched me. I went to juvenile hall. I did 8 months. I was in juvenile hall from 17. I turned 18 there, and I got out. After I got out, I've never been the same since then. God really changed my whole life around. And after I got out, I got back in training right away. I started training jiu-jitsu. MMA was starting to get really famous, and so I thought about it. A friend of mine came up to me and he's like, "Hey, I really want to see you in the cage one day." And I hadn't even thought about doing MMA training, ever since that day. But when he came up to me and he said, "I want to see you in the cage," and then that I thought about it and I said, "Wow, that's a really good idea." I had never trained any stand-up. Just did jiu-jitsu my whole life, and so at 18 years old, started training. I joined the school, World Team USA. I started training kickboxing, Muay Thai, and that's the best school, for Muay Thai, I believe. And after that, I did my first Muay Thai fight. Actually, I had three amateur fights, 3 MMA amateur fights. All those fights I didn't even train stand-up. All I could do is take the guy down, finish on the ground, submission, because that's what I did for, the past 6 years or so. So that's all I knew. And then I started training, but if you want to do MMA, you gotta really train everything. You gotta be able to, stand up, strike, and you gotta be able to take people down. You gotta train wrestling and everything else. But first of all, you gotta be disciplined. You can't get anywhere. Especially you guys, girls, you're starting young, you're starting at at a young age, and you gotta really think about everything you do in life. You have to have some kind of a dedication, in everything you do. If you are persistent and you're consistent with everything that you do, you'll be pretty successful. Just like I was reading a book the other day, and it says failure. You never fail if your determination to succeed is strong enough. So if you guys are willing to succeed, if you like what you're doing, and you're willing to pay the price, because it's not easy, right? It's not easy to do what you guys do. You know, you guys know that, you know, coming here to train, you know, you gotta go through certain conditioning training, and it's not easy, you know, it's not a piece of cake. You guys know about it. You know, you guys, you know, trained for a while. You've been training, you know, almost 3 years now. So, but you gotta have determination. Some days you'll be able, you know, you won't be able to get up, you know. You're gonna say, oh, I'm tired, or my body's aching, but you know you have to get up, and you know you gotta pay the price for every, you know, for every victory. There's a price that you need to pay, and you know there's no victory without struggle. You know, in everything we do, there's struggle. If you wanna succeed, you're gonna have to pay for it. You're gonna suffer sometimes. You know, you're gonna have days where you know you won't be able to train, and you know you have right now I'm going through some hard time because I have a shoulder injury, and I was training for my title defense, which was in April. And I had a shoulder injury in November, and then I re-injured it after a couple months after this last February. My shoulder dislocated, and so I'm going through that. You know, I'm about to get surgery pretty soon, and it's gonna take at least 6 months to I'm 100%, 5-6 months. You know, and it's time that I have to just sit here and do it. You know, I'm not saying I'm sitting here doing nothing, but actually like feel like I'm not at the beginning I felt like I wasn't accomplishing anything because I was just, you know, I couldn't train, you know, I couldn't compete, I couldn't fight. But you know, God, you know, just, you know, touches you every day and He renews you. And I started thinking, you know, yeah, I'm gonna put in more time with my students. You know, I have lots of students fighting amateur, and so you know, I started putting in time, you know, in my students, training them more and more, and you know, just try and make a difference, right? Because I know it's really hard to, you know, put a lot of time. You know, Andre, you know, you got a family. You know, it's hard to, you know, put in a lot of time in your students. So because there's a lot going on, you know. But you know, like I met this guy about 2 years ago through his dad, and his little brother, Osa, used to train at the Charles Gracie. Actually, he's been training there for a while now. And I met his dad, and I was looking for a boxing coach, so you know, I found him, and he's been great, you know, great to me ever since. You know, he helped me train for my first title defense, and actually it was a title fight, right? The first title fight with Gigo Hara, and my hands got so much better. You know, you guys are training with the best boxing instructor. You know, that he has a lot of experience, and he's, you know, he's patient. You know, as long as you guys are willing to learn, you know, you take a lot from him. You know, like, and you guys should take, you know, you should try and learn from other people's mistake. You know, and you should look around. You know, I know there's a lot of temptations when you're like high school, middle school. You know, you want to do other things. You know, sometimes you get off the road, right? You're in the right path, but you get off. You know, and there'll always be temptation. Temptation will always be there. You know, but you know, it's what's gonna matter is, you know, how your determination, you know, to win, to succeed, and to go further, right? Other people, you know, who have the same talent as me and any of you guys in here, but they didn't make it in life because they didn't have that determination, right? And talent is not gonna get you everywhere, right? Talent's only gonna get you so far. So I mean, if you have the talent and you have the courage to get up every day and succeed and work for the things that you have, right? It feels better, you know. At the end of the day, you can say, I work hard for the things I have now, you know, and then it takes a while, you know. You know, my career is only beginning. You know, I have lots of things I need to accomplish, right? So, you know, my dream is to go in the UFC, you know, and I'm in the right path. You know, I'm only 22 years old, but you know, I can, like I said, my career is only beginning. You know, I have a lot to learn. You know, I don't even know that much. You know, I'm only beginning. You know, I've been, like I said, you know, training boxing with Andre for 3 years now. And, you know, Muay Thai for 5 years. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for 10. But you know, there's a lot to learn. Always, you know, even like you, right? 67, turned 67 the other day. Yeah. You learn something new every day, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so, you know, here's a great example. So, you know, but mostly, I have to thank the Lord for, for where I am now, because without Him we are nothing. And, people who can accept that is because they're scared, because God's going to change their life forever. A lot of people, they deny Him, but I can do all things through Him who strengthens me, and jiu-jitsu, and fighting was a tool that God used to bring me back, to His arms, So, I went away for a little bit, but I'm back, and He got me back here, and He got me where I am now, and what I try to do is I want to give what I have, the experience I have, and the way God has blessed me, the experience that He gave me. I'm pretty sure it's for me to be a blessing to others. That's why He blesses me, so I can be a blessing to all you guys and others. So, He has done some great things. I can sit here all day, talk about it, about all the miracles He has done in my life. And, just to, I was just like, I used to be in gangs and stuff, used to do drugs, I let all that go. I leave everything behind, to follow Jesus and, to follow my dream, is to be, the world champion, So, He's taken me there, So He blesses me in order for me to be a blessing to other people. Like, I always learned that you can't give what you don't have. You can't teach what you don't have. So I try to learn everything. I try to learn from others, right? So I don't want to hide anything, or I don't want to keep anything with me, right? I want to give everything I have, everything that's good and I can give to others. I want to spread it out, so others can learn as well. You don't have to go down a wrong path to learn the right way or the right way to live. And you just have, you just got to look around and be wise. You got to look around and say, some people have been through this path and they didn't do so well, so I'm going to stick to the right path. And sometimes it's hard, but you got to stick to it, That's the biggest part. And I thank Andre for having me here. You guys, gotta keep training and, don't give up. This is the best thing you can do, with your life. You're going to be so busy, you're not going to have time for anything else. You're always going to be busy with something, Oh, Andre?
I'm gonna, at this point, like, anybody got questions, feel free to, raise your hand and they can call it. And if you got questions? Well, I have a question. You definitely a motivator. You definitely motivated. How is being in martial arts or being the world champion affected your relationship with your family?
It's kind of hard. It's like my parents. They always, they always supported me. I owe them a lot. My dad, my mom, my brother and sister. They helped me a lot. And in the beginning, my mom didn't like, when I used to fight. My dad always loved it. He went to every single fight. And then my mom, she missed a couple of my fights in the beginning because she didn't really like to go. She gets scared, And then one time I have 9 fights, one which I lost, it was a knockout. And then after that, she never again. She missed a fight.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. I got sweat. No, it's pro. No. No, that's my only loss, where I got psychologically I wasn't ready for the fight.
Oh,
yeah, I was going through some really tough stuff, and hanging around the wrong people, and I learned my lesson. But my relationship with my family, sometimes it's hard, especially like it's probably different if you're married, because you have to dedicate a lot of time, Like, I get up in 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Conditioning training in the morning, and then you go to wrestling 10 a.m. and you go home and you eat just time to eat, and then you have to go out again. You either have to teach or you have a class, and then you're not back till 9 at night. So yeah, it's a full-time job actually. And then actually, you know, the worst about it is because you don't, when you go home, you know, it's still going because, you know, you have to cut weight and, you know, you have to diet. So it's always in your mind, you know, it just goes 24 hours, you know. Like when I'm training for a fight, I have to drop about 15 pounds, you know. And, you know, I'll do that throughout 4 or 5 weeks. And, you know, you're just, you know, you get cranky and, you know, you get, you know, lack of carbs and stuff. There's a lot that goes behind it, you know. People just go to the fight on the weekend, they watch the fighters fight, they have no idea what they go through, you know, 6 weeks before the fight. You go through a lot, yeah.
You know, I used to compete and it was great, you know, but a lot of people like, why you don't compete anymore? And it's, you know, the sacrifice is a whole, like, and not to say that it wasn't great when I did it, but I know what it takes. And for some people, you know, it's like it ain't, like right now you are the champ and you have what it takes. And I just wanted to ask too, what are your plans, you know, what are your future like, you know, after competing, fighting? What is your goal?
Later on?
Yeah.
Well, like right now, you know, my plan is to, you know, fight a couple more times, you know, like for about a year or so, you know, Strike Force, Rebel Fighter, wherever it is, and then my dream is to go to the UFC, you know, that's the biggest fight promotion there is, and, you know, after...
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, after that, you know, retire the champ, and I want to fight at least for 8 more years, you know, 30 years old maybe. Who knows, you know, only God knows, but after that I want to have my own gym. And it's like you said, I mean, I'll never be able to have my own gym and still be able to perform at 100%, right? You know, it's hard, you know, especially, you know, business. If you open your own gym, then you're going to have other things to worry about, and you're not going to be able to train as hard and train the same. So, you know, my only focus right now is my career, you know. That's why, you know, I left everything, and, you know, that's my #1 priority is, you know, make sure that I train enough and that I'm at 100% when I fight.
Who are some of your role models?
My role models is, you know, like, first of all, my family, you know, my brother, he's the one who, you know, my sister, the ones who got me, you know, to know Christ, you know. My brother was always a Christian, and he's the one who helped me find, you know, the way, you know. It's not that I found God, he found me, but, you know, my brother helped me out a lot. And, you know, I gotta thank, you know, Cristiano and Flavio, they're the ones that got me to this, you know, they're the ones who put me in the way of martial arts, you know. And, you know, Jimmy here, you know, I've been here since I was 12, 13, you know. There's nothing that everything I ask him, he does for me, you know. Jim is a great guy, you know, Futaba, you know. There's not one thing, you know, that he won't do for me, you know, if I ask him. So, those are like people I look up to, you know, people like that.
Got a question? How about, what kind of, say these kids, they want to do this, but they don't want to do it competitively. I mean, what tips could you give them, you know what I mean, as far as focusing and managing their time, what they want to do? Like, they just want to do it, like, kind of like, I can tell sometimes these kids come in, they just want to come in and have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, not sure really what they want to do. And, you know, like, kind of MMA found you.
Yeah.
How could they find their goal, what their passion is, even if their passion isn't fighting?
That's true. Usually, like I'm saying, you know, there's a book that Mark gave me, you know, and it's funny because they talk about that and they say that the passion for whatever you want to do, that passion, you know, the fire is going to kind of grow in you, you know. And, you know, one way or another, you can't, like, if you have a child that you're trying to push into MMA or jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever it is, you know, it's not the right way to do it, you know. You know, if they have that passion for that certain thing, it's gonna come up somehow, you know. It's gonna come from within them, and that's why I never thought I was gonna compete compete or be a fighter anymore. You know, like I said, I remember to this day, you know, a guy came up to me and said, you know, man, I want to see you in the cage. And you know, up to that day, I had never thought about fighting. I always thought about competing, you know, jiu-jitsu competition and all that. And then as you get older, you know, you start getting more serious about everything, you know. When I was like 13, 14, I would do the same thing, you know. I would go to class, you know. But the thing is, you need those kind of people around you because you can't really walk in that road by yourself, you know. I had great people, you know. When I was doing bad, you know, they were still behind me, around me, supporting me and saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I always try to, that's why I always try to motivate the younger generation. And it's like, I don't know, you know Italo, right? A young kid, you know, very talented, you know. He reminds me a lot of myself when I was young. You know, the kid is always, you know, in and out of the gym, and you know,
16, right?
he's just turned 18 actually. Very talented, you know. And I hate to see that kind of stuff go to waste. And most important, you know, surround yourself with people that are gonna bring you up, not people who are gonna bring you down. Because in the world, there's lots of people who wants the worst of you, you know. They pretend they want the best, but deep down, you know, they don't care for you, you know. Some people either just around you because they want you, you know. As you get older, people are around you because for a certain situation, you know, because you have money or you don't, or because you have something they want, you know. And some people are just there to drag you, you know. They suck all the energy out of you, you know. They take everything out of you, you know. And then once you're down on the ground, and they just leave. Or when you're in a tough position, your family are the only ones that are gonna be really there for you. All right. You believe, oh, I have a good friend, you know, my friend, and I've seen this a lot. You know, people do things for their friends that they would never do for their own family, you know. And I did that, you know. I experienced that, but and then at the end, as you get older, that's the only thing you notice that the only people that will be there for you are your family, you know. And then the really good friends, which is like one or two, you know, only a couple, you know, who are really they're really there, you know. Whatever you go through, they're always there, you know. If you're injured or if you're going through some hard times, you know, they're gonna help you up, and they're never gonna. It's like, you know, like Jesus Christ, you never forsake you, you know. Like that's why God puts certain people around us like that, and you have enough judgment to know who those people are, you know, who those people who are gonna motivate you are. So.
You don't have any questions?
No, I have to cough.
They always have a lot of questions, man.
You're so shy, you know.
She's all like, no, I have to call.
Not only loud.
Huh?
Normally she's loud.
Hey, good story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Saved
Nah,
by the
clap the
blood.
phone.
Yeah.
I can't clap.
Exactly.
You want to hold it for
Nah.
Yeah.
Cause that was